heritage, all I'm inheriting, money and power.
Say your phone on silent.
What's up, brother? What's going on, man?
What's happening, man? All is well.
Hey, we back here. We at it. We here on we here on the block. We got a little more shoulders with us today, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But we got a new guest. We got a guest in the house. But let's go ahead and open this up, man. My name is Malcolm Yates.
My name is Andrew Nelson.
Hey, man, and we are the narrative. You know what I'm saying? We got you, D. We got you, man.
Yep.
So we want to introduce, one of our guests here today, man, and we always grateful and blessed when we have some guests on, man.
Absolutely.
And not only is he an integral stand-up brother of the community, but he's somebody I can call brother.
Yes, sir.
So we have with us today
the honorable.
Yeah. See, he hates when we do this, but guess what? When you make it to the title, brother. When you achieve something, that's like when you be called doctor,
right,
or physician. You the mayor.
Yes, sir.
We gonna welcome to the show, man, Mayor Darren Burrell, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me here, and I'm looking forward to having good discussion with you guys today, and we should have a good time.
Absolutely, and we're gonna change the narrative.
Yeah, we're gonna change the narrative. And what we like to do too, man, is this is a place where politicians and community activists and our advocacy people, man, can come and have some real discussion, some real conversation. And let your hair down and be you, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
Kill all that formality, man. I know
right.
you. Don't give me don't give me the professional code switching joint, man. We you in good company here, all right?
Absolutely.
So what we want to talk? What we got going on today, bro?
Man, so amongst everything that's going on in the world today,
we got to start off with what?
We gotta. I'm not black. I'm OJ.
Oh. Yeah, man.
R.I.P. to the brother, man. The brother OJ, man. He has left a tremendous impact on the culture and hell on the world, man.
Yeah, he did.
He had the trial of the century after having the football career of the century.
OJ. First of all, rest in peace, man. And he really did. I have a little bit of a struggle because with OJ, we weren't able to really give him his flowers.
Right.
But should we give him his flowers?
I mean, I'm going to say yeah, right? Because first of all, right, and I got to talk about, so OJ paved the way to make a pathway to where people that saw him, like, I didn't, of course, I wasn't alive. None of us was alive when OJ was in his time, right? When he was doing his thing. Right. But the reality is that everybody who we got to watch play, like your Deion Sanders when we was growing up, your Emmitt Smiths, right? All of those greats in the league, they were training watching OJ, right? They were aspiring to what they've become because they watched OJ. And for what it's worth, I do remember OJ running a little bit in my childhood when I watched Roots, right? OJ was in Roots, and this is the first time I seen him. And he was like fast running somebody down on a plane.
Word.
And I didn't know then that this was OJ because OJ he wasn't buzzing in the same manner at that point in time. But I mean, he made a tremendous difference, right? As far as, so correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he the first black person to get the large scale endorsements that he got?
Yeah, it was. The Hertz commercials.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah, OJ was the guy.
I heard my dude was running through the airport, hopping over and stuff.
When you seen him running through the airport, I watched the commercial.
Yeah.
You was like, damn, OJ fast as hell.
OJ was definitely fast, man. And I saw some clips.
And you're right. OJ was one of the first athletes to allow or to open up the doors for for you get those endorsements, right?
Yeah.
He allowed the Hollywood and everything outside of the NFL to shine light on black folks endorsing major products, right?
Absolutely.
He's similar to like how MC Hammer was to the rap game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know how everybody always talk bad about Hammer and like, he sold out, he was doing endorsements, he getting commercials, he got cartoons. But guess what? Every rapper has.
Right. Endorsements.
Everything.
Cartoons, cereals.
Well, you know what? Y'all told me I can be real here.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's be real about
Let's
OJ.
be real.
Oh, let's be honest. He was the first black man that actually was on trial that we know of for killing a white woman and got off.
Nah, you're right. So like, not just the first, but the only.
The only one that ever beat the system.
The only one that I know of.
He's the only one to beat the system.
But here's the catch, though. It's amazing no one talks about how that system benefits them all the time.
And he beat
It's
it.
the first time that a black man came in there and actually beat the system.
So my brother came out swinging. He said, "Hey, we not even." He said, "We not gonna build into it."
The system was designed against us, and he said,
"Absolutely."
Guess what? The system was designed to go against black folks. So
Yeah.
he said.
So he said,
"I'm
"We
not
gonna put
black.
together the dream team."
No, he said, "I'm not black. I'm OJ."
Yeah,
And that's how he got off, and so.
and he's
Okay.
definitely proved it.
But no one
So he got off.
He did it the right way. He followed their system.
Followed the
Yeah.
protocol.
And he had a great lawyer, a great team of
Right.
lawyers,
Great team, yeah.
attorneys,
Right.
and he got it done.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
quite frankly, we was all see. Here's the thing. I think I was in 9th grade. That's 94.
Yeah, we was young.
Right, I was in 3rd grade.
I know I was. I know I was in high. Oh wow. I know I was in high school, and we were in the gym,
Yeah.
screaming and hollering
Yeah.
OJ. Now I went to a school that were black and white. So
Yeah.
that really started the race wars in my school.
Wow.
Like it's like it was just like, oh, you for OJ, you
Yeah.
against him. We were fighting the white guys,
Wow.
and then when
Yeah.
you play football on the football
Yeah.
team, we're all the same.
Word,
Yeah.
word,
So we didn't get
word.
into the fight, but we watched it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I can tell
You know
watched
that really did start the division or create more of a division, right?
Right, it
Absolutely.
definitely created more of a
And
division.
I think that people
Yeah.
don't really realize that we were not cheering the fact that he got off with murder,
No.
right?
Right.
We're
No.
not sitting there condoning the fact that 2 lives were lost. What we were more celebratory about was the fact that we finally saw someone go through the same system that a lot of us failed at, right?
Absolutely.
The system that was designed against us to
Right.
put us in for, as we talk about the crack epidemic,
Right.
10 years for one gram of crack was 1 year for one
Absolutely.
pound of coke, right?
Absolutely.
So we seen that system. We sat there and said, "Oh wow, here's someone that actually used the system against it and won."
Right. And keep in mind, so in context now, again, I was a young boy, just like all of us, right? But looking at it from hindsight with 2020 vision, the same California police system that destroyed Rodney King,
Right.
was the same exact system that OJ was able to prevail in.
That's right.
Right. And so I think that's where the resounding excitement and acceptance of it was. And I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that we were excited that an alleged, and I'm going to call him that because he was acquitted,
Yeah.
an alleged murderer got off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now,
Go ahead.
Here, it was getting interesting. Nobody wants to dive in on the actual case. The case
we
was
do.
too pointed.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the murder. They didn't care about catching the murderer.
They cared about
getting
pinning it on OJ.
They
Right.
cared about
OJ.
getting OJ.
That's
Let's
why.
get OJ.
And that's
That
why
was
he
a-
got arrested for stealing back his own stuff.
Which is wild to me.
If I see my
Right.
trophy, I
Right.
see my jersey
that you
Right.
stole from me.
that was
Right.
taken from me,
Right.
that I worked so hard at in your crib. I don't
Absolutely.
know you. Give me my stuff back. right?
Absolutely.
So some lawyer on my page, he said that his name is Mark. He said what he done was a crime, but the fact is they overcharged him before. It's like what he's done. It was like burglary or whatever. I forget what the actual thing was that he was charged for.
Yeah.
But the amount of time he was convicted of was an access to back up from what happened. How he
Right,
got
because they
off.
was like,
absolutely.
listen,
So
since he got off on this, we going to get that asshole one way or
originally
another.
he's supposed to get a 3 to 5, but he ended up getting 10.
Right.
Because he beat the case.
Right.
And that's the part that was excessive. But you can't send me to jail for taking back my own stuff, bro.
You shouldn't.
Well, see, that's where I never get dive into politics. That's where I believe these district attorneys, we got to watch who we put in these offices. Because at the end of the day, is I wouldn't want a DA to say, you stole this and you're going to get that. Because at the end of the day, even if he did steal it, is it really 10 years for stealing a damn trophy?
No.
Right.
Like,
And it was
really,
strong
is it
arm.
really that deep?
Right.
Dog, he's
there was no
strong
gun
deep.
involved.
Yeah, no
right?
gun, there's
Like,
no
it's not
gun
like he
involved.
beat Bull up or anything
Yeah.
like that. We talking about a victimless crime.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did he kidnap somebody?
Moving somebody from one side of the room.
Oh, that's right. Moving someone
Yeah,
without
yeah,
their will
yeah.
is called
Come
kidnapping.
on.
Right? Jeez. You hear this technicality? But you know, that's crazy, bro.
I'm going to
That's
digress.
crazy.
But that is crazy.
So-
That's
so-
insane.
So it goes back to the original question, or the question that I had at hand is, can we celebrate someone and, Like, does duality actually exist? Like, why is it that
absolutely it exists?
You know, when we make mistakes, we are more hinged on that mistake rather than all the good work we've done beforehand.
Right. Well, it comes down to what his society is. Just for him being a black man. Now, we all know white people do stuff.
Right.
And when they do stuff, we forgive them.
Right.
They're back on TV. They're back in their jobs.
Absolutely.
Everything comes back. But with black people, they try to roof us and they keep it going. And that's what we do to each other.
Because we give them the
ammunition.
Yeah.
We give it to them.
And we constantly give them the ammunition. And they were like, well, I guess the court of social justice is going to make this real easy to roof him now.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Right? Everybody, including his own people, saying that he's guilty and they not have him. So we can pretty much do whatever we want to do. So if I come down 9 to 10 years for a robbery,
right,
they ain't gonna say nothing. We ain't got no real pushback.
No pushback.
Because the court of social justice already said he's guilty.
Right. And the court of social justice is manipulated.
Yeah.
Right. We gotta keep that in mind.
Because that's why when you see the news, everything they was running was him running from the cops.
That's correct.
They didn't show his 5 years or was it 6 years of consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus, do you know how hard it was? I was watching the documentary, and the coach said at USC, all we need is OJ. We're going to give him the ball 45 times a game. I don't know if you know football.
Right.
Unheard of.
45 carries.
45 carries.
45 carries is crazy.
Tom Brady don't even throw for 30 times.
Right.
They gave him the ball 45 times.
I believe they won the national championship.
And that was at USC?
Yes, at USC.
And that man was larger than life.
Larger
and
than
I feel like that's
life.
another thing, right? So when we get into it, like when we really dive into the social politics behind it, right? I think that's a big part of the reason why they crucify OJ, because he was larger than life, right? He was out here exercising what some would call white privilege, right? Let's think about it, right? He was living in this huge mansion, right? He was saying stuff like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. His circle was probably way more white people and Italians and powerful people than anybody. He had became what he thought at the time was untouchable, right? You done married this white woman, right? And then now it's like, how many people was pissed off, grinding their and gnashing their teeth? Who the hell does that guy think he is, right? And I think that's a true testament to the country that we live in, right? Sheesh. To watch that this man, everything he did was wiped away and erased, right? I'm sitting here, and I didn't even know that, bro, and thank you for that information. 45 carries at USC, I had no clue.
45 carries.
How many 1,000-yard seasons?
5.
You got people that's in the pros right now that's Hall of Famers that don't have one.
For real.
And he got how many?
5. And I'm thinking I'm wrong because it's more than that.
Nah, you might be.
Right.
So, but in reality, when it was rest in peace OJ, you got Mrs. Doubtfire, aka Kris Jenner, on here talking about good riddance.
Good riddance.
Yeah,
right.
And that was his man back in the day. That's the funny part. It
Right.
just shows you how some people you got
They
to
trade on
watch.
you.
Watch who's in
Yeah.
the circle, because he
Right.
was in their circle.
And for what it's worth, didn't Kris Jenner kill some innocent people too?
He did.
Yeah, sure did.
He did.
All right. I wasn't 100% sure,
So, you know.
but I was like, dang, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle black.
I'm saying birds of a feather, right? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, it really is crazy, man. But
Right. Oh, and for what it's worth, I do not think OJ killed, but I'm not out of the OJ had a role in it.
Yeah.
See, we weren't there, so
Right, we wasn't there.
We
but
always
I,
like
but
to
I did
say-
watch the case.
When was this? 93, right?
This was 94.
94.
94. I was
Yep.
13.
I was 8.
Yeah.
We always
You know what I
say
mean?
that we follow the court of law. Right.
Right.
You want to go to the court of law. My man got off.
He did get off.
So at the end of the day, he's innocent.
So I agree.
he
Well,
was not
so at the end of the day, he's not. Hold on.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, he's not guilty,
Absolutely.
right?
At the end of the day, he's not
Absolutely.
guilty.
So I
So
see
with
P
that
over there
being
making a
said-
face. So there's a technical. So innocence is an absolution, right? Innocence is a clearing, right? Not guilty means that we didn't have enough to charge you, right? I don't have enough for these charges to stick. We can all agree collectively that he is not guilty.
Yes.
Nobody but God and the two people that are there know whether he's innocent or not. So it's the play on words. That's all. I like the
he's-
technicalities.
So he's not guilty as being a convicted murderer.
Right.
So what is our issue of not, like, why is he guilty to us as not being black?
So I don't think he's
why
guilty.
is it a black? Why is it such a disconnect with OJ and us as a community as black folk?
Well, so bro, I don't see that. I by and large see a very large support of our people for OJ.
Okay.
I don't see people saying like now, except for Cedric the Entertainer, with OJ did it, right? But that's laughing, joking, ha ha. In reality, when it come down to it, I see our people actively defending OJ regularly, right? Yeah. Even when he was like people, there was I saw on social media, people were angry that they arrested that man because the same things we echoing on the show right now. How you arresting this man for stealing back his own stuff? I don't see that. Like, it's been my experience that by and large our people have stood by OJ.
I agree, yeah, because I stand by it, man.
Yeah,
At the
same.
end of the day, it's like it's all about forgiveness, right?
Absolutely,
like, it is what it is. He was found.
That's what I'm saying. So we can celebrate someone's life and everything they've done because mistakes are mistakes for a reason, right?
Yeah.
If there was no such thing as mistakes, everybody be doing the right thing.
That's a fact.
So we all make them because we human. So whether it's a huge mistake of dealing with the situation he had and being in court, or the huge mistake of him so-called kidnapping and taking back his own stuff,
right?
He made the mistake and he served his time and he made amends for it, right?
I agree with that.
So I think we need to celebrate OJ for the greatness that he was, the greatness that he did, the way that he was in every Naked Gun movie, the way that he was in every how he expanded the athlete for them to get these endorsement dollars, and also put us on a level of just put us in a higher level as a people.
There we go. Shout out to that man for exercising his privilege that was well deserved.
Right, and he should have done that, right? And so one thing about OJ, he was a brown brother, like he was a dark-skinned black man.
Right.
So it wasn't like you couldn't identify in him, right? It wasn't like you didn't see yourself in him. And he did, and he can't. His first wife was a black sister. People don't know that. So what we have to realize is, OJ, he's a big part of our culture.
I agree with that 100%.
A big part of the platform that got us from moving us forward, because we just said our culture don't move forward, and he was a big page.
I think he helped move our culture forward.
I say this is that second chances in this country is only relegated to white people, not black.
It feels like that.
And we got to start talking about second. We always say that, especially being a politician, I hear that, give him a chance, give him a second chance.
Yeah.
But we can't hire him because he had a drug charge 20 years ago.
Right.
What?
Right.
Yeah, that's not giving people second chance. We don't do that anymore.
Right.
But if they were white, I'm gonna be honest, I call a spade. Like, it is what it is. When white folks walk in, they say, "Oh, Johnny used to get high. He's good now."
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's all good.
Right.
What? But this black man got in trouble 10 years ago, and you're bringing that up.
Well,
but you know what? How do we get in front of that, though, right? Like, what can we do to solve that? Because I agree, and I heard you say something that I think was integral, right? You said that when they walk in, they're like, Johnny got high 20 years ago. It's part of the reason why we had this issue is because we like to sweep shit under the rug, right? They got in front of it. You walked in, and it's like, I'm going to own it up front. Listen, everybody, Johnny used to get high, but he's good now. Now it's like, I know everything you got to say against me. But I think maybe a part of where we go wrong as a people, we want to act like Johnny didn't get high 20 years ago, so that now somebody can come weaponize that secret, and then they flip out. So
I agree, but there's deeper than that.
Okay.
I'm gonna start here. I don't believe in going after a different culture. I go after us first.
Yeah.
Because you think about when we get on social media, if somebody does something negative, we share it a million times.
Yeah, that's true.
But they do something positive, we don't even like it.
That's
And like, we gotta start.
You are hitting on your point, because the minute you put up a positive post, you get like 2 likes.
You get 2 likes.
But as soon as you put some ratchetness on there,
it's a fact.
Yep.
And I see it like, so I do these things, right? Like,
positive post
so you
are
are
like the black dollar.
Absolutely, bro.
30 seconds.
My post that performed by a long shot, and I say this all the time, right? I'll share some very relevant, very positive, very thought-provoking stuff, and I'm telling you, my engagement is super low, right? Like, so on the back end of the data analytics, you gotta hit like maybe like your reach gotta be like at least 500 for the number to populate, right? And most of my positive posts, they just got dashes. It doesn't even reach a high enough number to count it. But listen though, as soon as I make some toxic post or something like that, it's getting 7, 8, 9, 12, 15 shares. My second largest post, right, that got like something like 600,000 reach was toxic. And I'm like, man, this is unbelievable. And I do all different kind of things to see what the algorithm will push.
Absolutely.
Right? So, because, I'm a nerd, so I want to analyze, right? And the unfortunate reality is that y'all are spot on. Like, my data for my page shows that 100%, that if I don't say disrespectful, toxic stuff, the reach is low.
I believe
low.
it.
super low.
Believe it.
And it's crazy.
So
man.
it's definitely sad.
Change the narrative. I mean, that's what it's about.
That's what we're trying to do.
And that's why we here,
That's
dog.
what
We
right.
changing the narrative.
Right.
And you had touched on something very, very touching on that, right?
Yeah.
When you start saying we got to be careful of who we put in place as far as the district attorney.
Absolutely. One of the most important jobs in
and
politics.
and that goes into our next topic of third-party politics.
Yeah.
Right? We were talking about, one of the things that came to mind was I was listening to Mark Lamont Hill's show the other day.
Shout out to the brother.
Yeah, shout out to the good doctor. And he was talking about Cornel West campaign. He was talking about the third party, and he
Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, Robert Kennedy, and how people think about third parties, and they say, well, why would you do a third party when you know you can't win? Why have a third party when you know the numbers are against you? It's a two-party system.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking to myself, I was like, yo, these people, I said, what's the best way to get your platform on a national level? How do you get all the ears to say, hey, this is what my people need, and leverage our votes by running for president?
Yeah.
And you can't do it in the Democrat Party, and you can't do it in the Republican Party because they already have their picks.
Right.
And they already have the picks
years.
after the picks after the pick after
Right.
the pick.
Their bench lined up.
Yep.
So they got their bench. We already know who's on deck for 2028.
For sure.
Absolutely.
We already know who's on deck.
It's not
2032.
Darren Burrow. It's not Darren
In 2032. You know what I mean?
And it's not Mr. Yates either. So,
Right.
So now, what third party politics now is starting to make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, man.
Right? Because there is no real way we can leverage our votes without, without having a holding hostage.
Absolutely.
Without a third party.
Right.
Because the Democrats don't necessarily hear everything that we got to say, and the Republicans, they don't hear everything we got to say. So
Right.
should we start investing in third parties?
So real quick, share. Did y'all watch the? Did y'all watch the Shirley Chisholm joint?
Yeah, I seen half of it.
You didn't see it?
I seen half of it. Yeah.
All right, so listen. First of all, shout out to Shirley Chisholm. That woman was unapologetic.
She was thorough
in her approach.
She was thorough.
And she said, I'm not about to let fear, I'm not about to let money or anything get in the way of what God put inside of me.
Facts.
This woman was so strong.
Facts.
But the key thing that stood out to me was, besides her grit and her determination, was her ability to evaluate effective politics, right? And what I started watching was that she began to realize, as her time progressed and as her position unfortunately weakened, she realized that her true power, her true impact was not so much as being the one, but affecting the one that is the one, right?
That's good.
And when you talk about should we shift to party politics, well, I'm going to say it depends, right? What your goal is. If your goal is to be the one, like if you want to be Neo, you're not likely to get that from the third party. But if you want to influence, right? Well, then let's look at what we see right now. Biden had he didn't care at all about student loan relief until Senator Bernie Sanders came about.
At
right?
all, right? And
then Senator Bernie Sanders encouraged Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg to put it in there. And then what ends up happening was
now it's become
their
the topic.
delegates that was already on board with this third party thought process, the only way that these delegates were going to roll up into the Biden administration if Biden shifted his platform. And this is what I be yelling from the rooftops, and most people don't hear me. We need to stop focusing on individual party politics and start focusing on platforms.
Absolutely.
Because if we focus on a platform, then it's very clear cut. Did you or did you not give me what I need in my platform? And if the answer is yes, then you have been effective to me and you deserve my vote again. And if the answer is no, you're useless to me, and off with your head. We can't do that with parties, but we can absolutely do that with platforms. And I think that third parties give us the most leverage in historical and in the current day platform. Like there's no other path that we could use that's stronger for that. Now I'm shutting up.
Well, I'm going to go in on this.
Go in, brother. Go in.
It's first, you said a lot, but what I'm hearing from what you're saying is that we need to have educated voters. That's what I'm hearing, and that's you think about what bothers me. And I'm chair of the Democratic Party in my town, and I'm a Democrat all through and through, but I'm not a slave.
Right.
Amen.
Like it's just the way it is. I'm gonna do what's best for my community every single step of the
Amen.
way. And at the end of the day, you got to take a step back and say, what is the Democratic or Republican Party? Because we're going to talk about these two first before I get to a third party. Because what I like about the third party is that they actually do it, and the Republicans, Democrats don't do it.
Say that.
Is that they educate their voters. Right. Like we don't never talk, and I sit in these leadership meetings, I sit in these meetings, and no one's even talking about how do we educate the voters. We're always about voter turnout.
Just get them out.
Just get them out instead of actually educate them and say, we're doing A, B, C, D, and E. And this is what our vision is to do this. Because if you're a leader in leadership, in my mind, if you don't have a vision, you're going nowhere.
That's right.
There's no vision, and people shall perish. I hate to go dig into that, but
No,
it is.
No,
what it
you're
is.
right.
What Christian
Right.
is what it is.
Absolutely.
And that's the
My
way
man
I
out
look
here,
at
he done brought out Jose.
Yeah,
Shout out to the brother.
So the third parties, they're educating their voter. That's the reason why they're so much more attractive.
Yeah.
I guarantee if you check the IQ levels, their IQ levels probably a little bit higher than the Republican and Democratic Party, because those people actually pick
They're
up.
critical thinkers.
Yeah, they actually read something. They actually learn something, figure out what's your vision, what you want this country to be, and then go after it.
That's a fact.
They're not doing that. I mean, I love Joe Biden and all that kind of stuff. I'm a supporter and all that kind of stuff. But he didn't come in my community and educate me one iota.
But here's the thing: the independent voter and the independent registered person are the most engaged and educated voter, right? Sure. Because the independent person is the one looking at one side and be like, yeah, I can like that, but I don't like this. Yeah, I like that, but I don't like the other.
That's that critical thinking.
And they're the most critical thinkers of both parties. And a lot of times, like they saying that, Democrats fall in love and Republicans fall in line.
Yep.
When you start talking about the masses, they don't necessarily have that critical thinking capability, right? So my push on this is that, the party, some of the parties do educate folks, and they make sure that it's out there and available, because you and I, and all four of us know, we put the work out there, but we need the people to accept it, right? So we put it where the goats can get it, but if there's no goats that's coming to go get it, then the food goes rotten, right?
Absolutely.
So now, what is their charge? Like a lot of times, and I get really upset because we always kind of blame the party or the politician or the leaders, but we can't lead people who don't want to be led, or who are just sitting on their hands or just sitting on their asses and not necessarily putting any of the energy or the effort for it. Because just as much as you can learn a verse in the Bible or a verse on a song, you can come out and hear my damn platform, and you don't hear my platform because guess what? You just been indoctrinated, or you have this culture in you where you're just lazy as hell. Because just call it what it is. Because we've been out here, we're all young men, and we've been saying the same shit for the last 15 years, maybe,
at least,
right?
Yeah.
So if we're still claiming the same thing, it's not us, right? Because we here, we're accessible. Right. We're there. We're available, right? Because I just did a thing at Drexel. I said with maybe that's available, not necessarily always accessible. But guess what? We are accessible.
Right.
We're providing it to you. So now, if you don't have it, that has something to do with you, bro, sis. That got something to do with you. It got something to do with you as far as what you want. Because you just want to sit back and complain and call people out.
Yeah.
But you ain't doing nothing.
Right.
That's good.
Right. What are you doing to change it? So I have these conversations with a good friend of mine all the time. And, so I want to bring it back to the systemic problem. I think that America has this problem all across the board with the undereducated voter. And it comes because we're not meeting the civic obligation with our education system, right? Let's keep it Dougie. We can acknowledge the reality is that we're living in is we don't have an educated voter base, right? The reason why we are easily manipulated, and this is not even a black-white thing anymore. This is an American thing, right? The average American is underrepresented in civics because the average American lacks civic education. Why is it that you look all across the board? We got all of these public schools. The vast majority of Americans are educated in the public school system, and the public school system does not have an individual mandate that ensures that you are meeting the civic obligation. As an American citizen, I've been taught that I'm supposed to vote, right? As my civic duty, I'm supposed to get politically involved, right? But you don't give me a single foundation to ensure that I have any idea what that looks like, right? What is going on here? Is this a misunderstanding?
Sure.
right?
No.
And then you got Lauryn Hill talking about we was miseducated. Well, yeah.
Yeah, the miseducation.
Because the average person graduating in America, they're not prepared to fill in the role of a legislator, right?
At all.
You can't
Prepared to fill
read.
the role of a legislator.
America has a literacy problem.
To fulfill the role of a productive human being.
So a productive human being should be a baseline, right? But I think that if we expect to have the population able to be able to effectively join the military and be some kind of effective person and defend our country, right? We have to have American citizens actively involved in civic roles, right?
Oh, you're absolutely
Where
right.
is this plot of qualified people coming from, right? Every year we have less and less and less qualified candidates, and it's by design.
Again, I'm always going to keep it real with y'all.
Yeah.
Is that it's capitalism.
Absolutely.
And because I served on the school board, I did that, and it's things that I tried to push at for civic engagement. But you got to understand is that there's no. Let me back this up.
Okay.
I worked in the auto industry for over 20 years.
In what kind of industry?
Auto industry.
Oil? Auto. Okay.
Yeah, I did subprime auto loan. My team did subprime auto loans for years. That's what I was doing. I used to work for General Motors doing that.
So that means you getting poor people riding.
Oh, absolutely.
I love to see it.
That's what. So I watched the game and how the game is played, and I learned that. And even in real estate now, I'm in that, and it's like it's the same game. You keep people uneducated so we can capitalize off.
Absolutely.
I mean, I hate to sound like this. People don't know how to balance their checkbooks. They don't even know what a checkbook is. Now they got these little things called cards.
Yeah.
They're running around with their cards.
Absolutely.
And they're running with Apple Pay. They don't even know how much money they have in their accounts.
Debit and credit,
It's
what?
keeping them very uneducated.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to make bad financial decisions.
Absolutely.
And that's really what they want them to do is make bad. So there's never going to.
There it is.
He got the bell.
Yep.
See, he just threw me off with that, but that was a good point. That's the point bell.
Yeah, that mean he agree.
Oh, all right. I was like, I didn't know what that was. Like, wait, what happened? But it's they want to keep us uneducated because it's profit in that.
Absolutely.
And who's paying for these people campaigns? Some billionaire behind it is pushing the strings.
Right.
I don't
Some
want,
1%er.
if I'm a billionaire, I don't want you to be educated. I want you to be uneducated.
Why? Because there's more competition?
Yeah, absolutely. Why? I'm still making my money, so why would I? Who cares? Keep it going.
I want to propose a thing for our high schools, right? I don't know if you guys had this when you was in high school. Did y'all have like a high school graduation project or something like that? Like
yes, senior project.
A senior project that you had to do before you got out of high school?
We was assigned a senior project. Right.
Yeah,
So
with
with that premise in mind, like in order to graduate, you had to present. Like for us, it started in 9th grade, and I think we were like the first students that have it in Pennsylvania.
So y'all was organized.
No, so the school district put out something called the graduation project, where you had to do a culmination of you had to pick a project and do research on it, and for 3 years, and on your 4th year, you present on it like it's a thesis, like it's your story, and to a board of teachers. And in order to graduate, the teachers had to approve it, right? So with that same premise, I think what we should do is every child in high school should present to us a 2-year plan post high school. Either it's the military, either it's Army, whether it's a job, whether it's something of higher education or something of some type of certificate or training, to say, this is what I'm doing post high school. And if you do not have a plan, you can't graduate.
Yeah,
right?
I like that.
Right.
Because the problem is we usher our children through these schools for 3-4 years, matter of fact, 12 years, without a plan or undereducate them. And then what happens is they graduate and you push them into an ocean and say swim.
Absolutely.
How do we swim when we don't got no plan?
And can I correct you, brother?
Okay.
Because it's not a push. I would imagine that it's a violent kick in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing
Kicking
you
the
off
head.
violent.
No, this is Sparta
Right?
cook.
Yeah.
This is Sparta. Get your ass out
Because
kick,
push
right?
kind of sounds like encouraging a little bit. And that is not what we are seeing.
Because if they can't produce, because a lot of times the biggest issue with kids or children is that, or most of the violence come from what? People from 18 to 21, right?
Yeah.
And this is where the decisions are made in your life that's going to haunt you for the good significant amount of your adulthood.
Say that.
Right? So why are we letting them go out without either an acceptance letter from a school, acceptance letter from the military, training from the trades, or a job? Why are we letting them out and say, figure it out?
Well, like
and
you
then
just
get
said.
mad and say, what's wrong with these kids? Well,
Capitalism.
We
Because
undereducated
who
them.
gonna fund that additional year that it costs when the teacher makes the decision and says that this ain't gonna happen? Furthermore, how do you hold the child accountable who no longer falls under truancy laws to keep
Right.
showing back up? Because I know if Andrew E. Nelson got told after my senior year that I can't graduate, if you think that I'm gonna come back again following year when I'm now 18, right? And I'm grown, just to get some kind of, what do you call it, certificate of achievement?
That's right.
No, sir.
So we got to go back to the parents.
Right.
So now the parent got to do it. And that goes into the topic that we about to roll into. Our final topic about parents in Sexxy Red. And we're going to have a little video we want to show on here, man, because, we're going to wait for our producer to put it up. But we want to watch this, show the audience, and then let's talk about it when we get on the other end of it, man.
All right.
I had retweeted a post where Sexxy Red was mad because she couldn't go and perform or speak at a school.
Nobody called the police. So look, this school put me, I came up here, got you, trying to talk to the kids, getting the word of that, they gonna put me on me. Tell me I smell like weed, watch this.
My point is proven, seeing that she's mad she can't go into a school. I've been telling y'all her target audience is kids, because it is.
What's your song?
I'm at town, still going around.
Ooh.
Downtown, going downtown.
I need a new pappy.
If you see me and you trying to see what's up.
If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you see me and you trying to see what's up. What? Okay, I see y'all. Look at y'all.
A lot of these new age artists target kids with very hypersexual and explicit content. Because why, as an adult entertainer whose music is on the verge of erotica, would you even think it's appropriate for you to show up at a school and then show up like that, smelling like marijuana?
What do you think about that? I mean, Sexxy Red upset that she can't go to a school and because she smelled like weed. Like, first off,
the audacity.
Who invited her? Right?
Right.
Like, who okay?
Because somebody was like, yeah, this is cool.
Who okay?
This is okay. Right?
Like,
man,
like,
it just speaks to
this goes with so many levels, dude. Like, it's so many layers to the fuckery of this. Excuse my language.
Right.
Well, you got to look at it like this: is that we assume that this principal actually really care about these kids, because if I care about these kids, she's not coming. I hate to say, I have a 15-year-old daughter.
That's right.
And I'll be damned if she's coming. If I had $1 billion and I had throw a party and I had some important people there and they entertaining, it damn sure ain't gonna be her.
It'd be Dora the Explorer.
I talk to my children all the time about what they consume. And explaining to them like, yo, listen, the stuff that you hear programs your mind.
It does.
You ingest this into your subconscious, and this is what you think about.
It programs us, bro.
Right, it does. So I think we owe it to our kids to be frank with them.
She's
right?
programming them, bro.
She is absolutely programming them.
They said they said that our children are hypersexualized.
Absolutely.
Oh, they are.
And aren't they?
Yeah.
Right?
Because they have access to everything on his phone right then and there, bro.
And I'm dealing with this with my son right now. My son says stuff out of his mouth that he don't have a filter. He's 7.
Oh, wow.
My son is 7.
That's the age too,
right?
bro.
And the unfortunate reality is that he unfortunately in walks of life hears this music. Now I don't play it because I'm not even a fan. Like if y'all didn't show me who Sexxy Red was, I'd have never been able to pick her out of a line.
Yeah, I couldn't pick out of a line.
Because I just don't care anymore. But the reality is I love music.
I'm at that
right?
point in life.
So I definitely introduced music to my children, right? But I had no clue that we was gonna reach a point where music became like this, right? Like this.
But these are children that we seen sitting
How about, wasn't it preschoolers in there in the video?
Leading a class, a teacher doing a call and response on the song.
Right. But I feel like that's the problem.
That's the problem. Our call and response was, "Old McDonald had a farm."
E-I-E-I-O.
Not downtown. What is it? I don't even know.
Something about going downtown. And then let's get into the And let's get it.
Responded.
What is this ski? Because last time I checked, skiing had everything to do with
ski.
Right?
Ski.
The Yin Yang twins.
So I had to Google. Let's see how old this young lady is. She's 25 years old. So this is not an 8. I was like, maybe she's 17 or something.
No.
Maybe it's something.
She was born in 1999 when I graduated high school.
And you're telling telling me you're gonna show up. It doesn't make any sense. You telling me you're gonna show up smelling like weed. The utter disrespect for her, for our children, is a problem.
Right.
That's really a problem.
This is the role models.
Yeah,
I'm going into a school. Now, it'd be a different story if you're using it. So first of all, real quick, right? I am pro marijuana, cannabis for medicinal purposes, right? So I want to clear that up.
Medicinal or recreation for me. I'm with it.
But when you go going to mentor, to be a leader for children, you shouldn't be smelling like weed. And if in the event you do, and you're not allowed to go, how do you have the audacity to have an issue with that?
Now we have a problem.
Like, what's going on here?
Yo.
And then why do we have teachers teaching this to people in pre-K?
Again,
right?
you assume that these educators care about these
you
kids.
have to assume it. Right, and maybe they're not malicious in their thinking, but maybe they just small-minded.
You know why they feel emboldened to do it?
Why?
Because the parents already let the kids do it. So now I need to teach my kids.
Problem,
I gotta again. Parents not parenting, right? So they send them to school to get parented, right?
Yeah.
Right. So now as a teacher, I got to figure out how to captivate this audience of children that's not listening to me.
Yeah.
Right. How do I get their attention? By playing some stuff that they hear in the crib, right? So they can relate to. But why does a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old can repeat Pound Town? Why is it that? And why do we think that is okay? And why do we think that is okay to record it and say, look how cute my kid is?
Right, but meanwhile, little Johnny can't read.
Meanwhile,
and Tamika is sitting here struggling with if you got 8 apples and somebody took 6 and they yelling 5 every single time as the answer.
Yeah, right. So now we talking about these kids and they ain't have nothing to do with it. It's the people that's in charge of these children, right? And the people that's in charge of these children starts at one fundamental place, and that's at home, bro.
That's right. So then I gotta beg the question. Then, do we need to start censoring our music?
Ooh.
Oh, absolutely.
Do we need training our parents?
I think.
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely, we need to start training our parents.
I think we.
And fathers need to get the hell in their kids' lives.
I agree.
And I'm talking about fathers being men, right? Men. Being the protector, being the provider, being the leader, and pushing these hard conversations.
Facts. And I go on a limb and say half of these kids that you see probably don't got a dad in their life.
Unfortunately,
right? Because
and if they do have him in their life, then maybe he tucking his tail and cowering under the stress.
If he is in their life, is on a weekend probably basis, unfortunately.
So y'all want to talk about fathers, is that we got to talk about the support system for fathers.
Now you're right. There is none. There is none.
It's like
and then we don't have anybody teaching us either.
Now here's the thing. So being in politics, I'm a helicopter dad. I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
I actually stepped away when I became the mayor. I stepped away from school and let my wife do it.
Mm-hmm.
I let her do it because when I go to school, I got to be the mayor and I got to be, I got to be a parent. Don't like that. I kind of, like that. Long story short, one of the teachers implied to my daughter that she doesn't have a father at home.
Ooh, what?
Of course, my daughter lit her little ass up.
So hold on, brother, hold on, because I want to make sure I'm understanding this. When she implied, did she imply this knowing you?
No.
Or she just assumed because she's a little black girl that she don't got a dad.
Absolutely.
Because the most powerful thing that you can do is be a black dad pulling up the parent-teacher conference.
Oh,
right?
God.
Right.
I just do it all the time. I don't do it anymore. I let my wife handle that.
You come to the parent-teacher conference as a black father, they be like, oh, my gosh.
They sure do.
Because guess what? You're not going to do little Camille.
You a unicorn.
You're not going to treat little Camille like you treat anybody else.
That's a fact.
But the woman has to, whatever woman you're dealing with, I'm a proponent for marriage. I am.
Yes.
I'm one of those people. I believe
we talk about the nuclear home.
Yeah, all the time we pro-nuclear family around here.
I want to make sure,
Absolutely.
put it out there. I've been married 18 years, same woman for the last 21 years, and we have our kids 15, whatever.
Right.
Congratulations, bro. That's big time, man.
Absolutely.
I'm
a
big proponent for us being a family.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what's missing in this country. All the other stuff that they're doing is just trying to tear away the family, and it's tearing away for starting with the black man.
That's a fact.
And we do that to each other. Unfortunately, we assume that he's not home, he's not there. Oh, that guy could be working 60 hours a week. At the end of the day, he's got to support that man.
Right.
He can't be at the parent-teacher conference. Not because he doesn't want to be there.
Because we working.
He got to work 60 hours a week.
But his presence is still felt all across that household.
And I always say the diabolical plan has always been to destroy the nuclear black home. That's a fact, right?
Because they realized with something with a K, the Senator Kroner or whatever report. That the strength of the black community was the black family.
So guess what? As we kept putting it together each year, right? First we was talking about the whole going back to slavery, how they made sure they buck break this, right? Going down to, let's fast forward up to the crack epidemic and the mass incarceration piece, right? So now what is the way that they're trying to destroy the black home, right? The way they destroy the black home is now, let's say, okay, let's reduce the power in the black men and empower the black woman. So now let's make the black man. So let's make the black man something that the black woman is not appreciative of or nor desire. Right. And then put them in position of power. So now that they're talking down onto black men, and then now the house is like, well, what are you black man for? Because he ain't gonna do nothing. I got all the bills. I
see that all the time. I see women talking about that all the time.
So I'm telling our sisters, let's not get the promotions for the detriment of us. Like our issues as a black community is not the same feminism that they fought for back in the 70s, 80s. Because our issues ain't their issues. Our plight ain't their plight. There has never been a problem between our women and our men. But somehow they made it that way. And we got to figure out how not to be separated or let's not get bigger and bolder on the detriment of men. Because we need us to be in the place, and we need to show our sisters that, one, we are here, one, we have your back, and we are always going to stand beside you. But just because you get in position don't mean you got to push us out the way.
Well, it's the measuring stick. It starts where I see it a lot because I have a lot of friends in the fraternities and sororities and all that kind of stuff. And what I see is that we use education to downplay what a black man's doing. Like, I'm not as well educated as my wife. She has a master's degree. It's great. You know, she wants to get her PhD. I'm all for it. But she supports my vision because I'm a sales guy. You know, like it's different. I'll make more money. The money don't matter to some people. It's about the titles and what people are doing and all that. And we got to get away from that.
Absolutely.
You got to look at what this man brings to the table as far as how can he raise my kid and give me the quality education. I always call it the first education is at home. Giving that quality education to your kid to be a good, productive citizen. He could be a bus driver, but he's doing better than the PhD doctor or whatever.
Yeah, but that's what sustained us all throughout. Like, so it's very common to have a situation where the woman is more educated than the man, and I'm talking about back to the 1800s.
It's by design,
right?
By design.
And but then at the same time, you got the man that's a tradesman, right, and still going, or even the factory worker. Going out grinding, right? And then what ends up happening is the man doing the structure and the provisions, and the woman being the one to aid with the growth and the birth and the flourishing, right? Women doing their natural role by nature are nurturers, right? So, and that's not just with kids, nurturing the business, nurturing the household, right? And the reality is that if the woman is going out and working the role or the job in the manner that the man is, then she's going to be taking those nurturing skills and growing someone else's business, growing someone else's community, right? And now you're losing that individual power base in your household. And that's where we have this imbalances off now, right? And it's a very unfortunate situation, but that's where we're at.
You're absolutely right. And shout out to Kev, yes, guy that's on here, Abdul.
Brother Wakil
says, we as women never emasculate our black men, never.
Facts.
Right. You're right. Because one of the things is we're always going to be supportive of us. Like, and I really struggle against what they say that our plight is as black men with women is that we don't listen to our women. Because I say this all the time. The very first person we learn to listen to is who?
Moms.
Right?
Grandma.
So when moms listen, we when mom talk, we listen. When our mom's in jeopardy, we step up. So when our black sisters are in need, we are there. So what I would love for our sisters to understand is when you get when you get in position to be open the door and sit at the table, don't close it on us. Right? When you get in position to have that power and leadership, don't not hire us, right? Because when you are in those positions and you get in a certain situation and you're looking for that protection, if you only hired everything other than black men, how can we protect you if we're not in that room?
Absolutely.
Right? So you need protection at every point. And every profession has its own subject matter. So either you're, whatever profession you're in, hire some men within that so that we can always act accordingly and act in concert and have your back when it's necessary.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times I'm seeing our sisters is unfortunate that they get the bag, they get the promotion, and they don't look back and they don't open the door.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm not saying it's all, but I'm not saying this. I'm seeing some of it.
I mean, that goes back to the programming, right? Every time you hear on the radio, it's F a ninja this, F a ninja that, or some kind of way to divide us, right? You look on TV or on the internet, it's constantly these battles. Oh, I wish women to do this, or I wish men to do that, right? And very rarely do you hear men like us where we holding other men accountable and we like, listen, you got to do what you got to do. You got this brother right here, been married to his wife for 18 years. How long you and Stacey been married?
13.
13 years. And I'm no longer with my children's mother, but we co-parent and we still family, absolutely, right? 50-50 custody, taking care of my responsibilities all across the board, right? And we still do family building exercises. So even though my ex-wife and I are not married, living together, we gonna always be family, and we raising our kids, right? And it's understood, right? No need to explain what's already understood, right? We still family. And when do we get at 08? So what's that? 16 years ago, right? And we still rocking, right? So the reality is that the nuclear family can still be intact when men do their part. Right?
But you got to allow us to do our part, sisters.
That's a fact.
And you got to open the door for it to happen. And I'm being this way intentionally because when you start seeing these little kids and these little girls repeating the things that we see from Sexxy Red, it is not it's not beneficial to us as a culture. It's not beneficial to us as a community. It's not beneficial to us as a people.
It's not.
Right?
It's definitely not.
And it's not cute.
It's detrimental.
It's not cute.
Right.
At all.
And what are we teaching our young children when they sit here chanting lyrics of Sexxy Red in their mind in their formative years, right? The most important foundational years of a human's life is from 2 to 5 and then extends on to 7, right? And this is what we pump in our children's brains and subconsciouses with.
Maybe it's just me. It's raising my daughter. I'm just trying to figure out what year that I allowed her to listen to other music, because I controlled everything that she got into her brain from the ages from 0 to about 7 or 8.
Right.
Like that's when the public influence started coming.
That's when you started going to school.
She started going to school and her classmates.
But it was all Kids Bop.
Yep.
Like,
absolutely.
It wasn't no Sexxy Red.
Absolutely.
Like that didn't happen. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
That's just the way I look at things. Maybe, and I believe that men has to set the. You know what? Felicia Coffee said that. It made me think about it. The men sets the atmosphere, set the tone of the home.
We set the tone,
and women set the atmosphere. And that's a fact.
You are so
and that
right.
balance together, that is what we need, right?
We need that.
And we out here talking about, well, I don't need this or I don't need that. Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we absolutely do.
We absolutely
Men
do.
need women,
and
women,
we need
and
y'all.
women need men.
Do you need them?
And absolutely.
Do you need them, D?
Oh,
don't I?
JP, you need them? Women. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here is 4 educated. And my man Kevin Samuel say what's it called?
High value.
High value black men.
Yes,
all right?
yes, indeed.
Here we got 4 high value black men telling you, sisters, yes, we need you. We can't do it without you. We love you. I love black women so much I made 2 of them.
Right. Same.
Okay?
Same.
So
and I will forever be with a black woman.
So
absolutely.
let's go ahead and kill that narrative of that we don't want you around. We don't want to build with you. We don't want to be around you. We need you.
That's a fact.
I can't do it without you. We ain't gonna be here without you, right?
It's funny that you say that because I probably learned more about my wife through my daughter.
Amen.
Yeah.
It sounds
Absolutely.
weird. I learned
It's
more
not-
about
doesn't
her.
sound- I got 2 daughters,
bro.
It don't sound weird at all.
Stacy would tell you, she says, yo, having Camille, I told her, I said, having Camille made me understand you so much more.
Absolutely.
Because
now I get
having
the-
a daughter, I was not understanding.
Right.
I was hard. I was just hard on him. What's the easy? I'm hard on her. You know what I'm saying? I was. And then having a daughter and my daughter Mari, they make me realize like, oh.
Definitely.
This is why you think that way.
And my youngest daughter, Aria, she is her mother reincarnated to a T. You understand me?
To the T.
So when I tell you that for sure, a profound understanding of her mom came about when I like from my interactions with her, right? And I can honestly say that our relationship has gotten better as a result of me being able to parent my daughter.
Amen.
Right?
It's funny
Facts.
because another thing I got it from my daughter too is that I got a different appreciation for women's sports.
Yeah.
Because and, like, I was on the school board and my daughter was I think she was doing volleyball. They kicked them out of the volleyball practice for basketball. Boys basketball. I'm like, whoa. They playing a sport too.
Wow.
Right.
And it dawned on me that we do it to these kids, and we're telling them, we're programming them.
We program
to say
early.
The boys' basketball
is more valuable than you.
And
And that's wild.
bullshit.
It is. I agree.
Bullshit. Like so, I kind of call my schools out about that and say, hey, you can't. I showed up to school board meetings, and I say that like if you're going to spend $100,000 on boys basketball or football, you need to spend that $100,000 on a volleyball team too.
Right.
These kids get or the softball team.
Facts.
It's just the way it works.
And to that point, last month I had an event, and we called on. We had a lot of strong male leadership at the end of it, right?
Absolutely.
And the sisters came to me and was like, "Yo, we really appreciate hearing the black man lead, right? And see you guys do it." So it was asked for me to host another event, right? So what the idea now is I'm creating something, and it's going to be held next month. In June. I'm sorry. Where I want to destigmatize the whole thing about brunch, and I'm creating an event called Yes Men Do Brunch, where we coming out, where we gonna be in suit and ties,
nice,
right? We all, suited and booted, and even if the young boy, and we want the young boys there too. If it's your young boy having your sneakers on and your tight jeans and your polo, that's cool. Come on out. But we're gonna expose the young with the old and the old with the young. But also what we're gonna do is a health and wellness type of situation as well, right? So we're gonna have some mental health things there. We're gonna have some career development things there. But we're not pushing it on you. Right, so we're going to be able to sit there and have a collective of men network, talk to one another, how to build on one another. It's right after Father's Day, so therefore we can talk about how to be a father, how to be a husband, how to be a better man. Right?
I love it, man.
We're going to have a motivational speaker there to talk about how we do better in our business. I talked to Yes God. Yes God, if he's still out there, he's gonna take some photos for folks, man.
That's gonna be
what
dope.
we're gonna do is he gonna give you the ability to have your own reel, so you can increase your social media presence.
Nice,
right? Because we all out there, so we want to make sure that's there.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is, also is going to be catered, and it's going to be catered by the sisters.
Nice.
Right?
Nice. So we better have some good
unfortunately,
food, good eats.
Unfortunately, we don't want to get a plate from another man. I don't want you to serve our plate. That's one thing for sure. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have our sisters cater. So I'm asking our sisters out there to show their solidarity to help us put this event on, man. So it's going to be June 23rd. I'm waiting for Widener to give me the approval, and I'm a little bit preliminary talking about it, but it's going to be probably at Latham Hall.
Okay.
So we're gonna have it there, and so more information is gonna be coming out, man. I want y'all with y'all best suits on. 3-piece fedora it up, man.
Ooh.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't come sloppy.
So if you want that, then we're gonna need to do it before the summertime. It's gonna have to be before the summertime, then, brother.
It's gonna be. I'm sorry. I wish it was, man, but
you make it a vest.
Yeah, maybe you can wear just your vest,
Right. Or some linen.
Like,
get a linen suit.
How Kev? Yes, got to wear just the vest with no shirt on underneath.
Right.
I mean,
right. Something like that. Okay.
But what I wanted to promote that men are here. We are in these spaces. We are here in these professional spaces, and it's not just about politics, and it's not just about advocacy, but it's about us being men and building on one another.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to have there, man. And I think it's going to be a real dope. One of the things we're going to do is show how the difference of tie knotting, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's 3 different types of knots when you put on your tie.
It's more than that.
Right? It's
definitely more than that.
Right?
So
the main ones.
Figure that out, how to tie a bow tie from scratch, my G. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I know how to do it.
I don't know how to do that, right? The difference on, one of the biggest things, we was out the other day, and we were smoking cigars, and one of the homies was like, I ain't never really been here because I don't really know cigars like that, right?
Right.
And I ain't want to be embarrassed about it. And it's not really being embarrassed. It's just about, all right, what's the difference between the 2 or 3 or 4 to 5 cigars and then want to smoke it? So therefore, you're not necessarily getting judged on it. Now you got a little bit of foundation of what you like, right? So now you can go out to these cigar bars and because you know where the decisions are made at, right?
Yeah.
The cigar bar or the golf course, right? So then another piece, having someone teach us how to swing.
Well, that's the thing. If y'all want me to do that, I love it. I play
Swing,
golf all the time.
teach us how to do a nice swing on a golf court. Right. So when we at putt or when we at Top Golf, we can get that together to go back out to where the decisions are made on the golf course.
Right.
And
flex a little bit.
I do gotta say
Tiger
this.
Woods.
I do gotta say this about golf is that it feels great to go out and play golf. I incorporate my entire career. I'll go out there and I kick them white boys' ass.
Yeah.
I mean, I take it
and
serious.
then hit one of these.
As soon as I tee off, they see it. They like, whoa.
And you Tiger Wooden it all
right,
day, like,
right. Yes, sir.
Because I don't dress like them. I'm still me. I don't code switch.
Right.
The same guy you're getting today is the same guy you get in the corporate boardroom. I don't care. I really don't care. It is what it is. I'm the same guy.
As you should be, and that's a beautiful thing.
They cannot stand it.
Listen, so
Malcolm,
see some of the joints too when you get a chance. I can't see.
Oh yeah. So Christina was talking about censorship being a slippery slope, and I agree with that. We kind of talked about that a little bit, but after having this conversation, I don't care how slippery it is. At the end of the day, if we continue to allow our children to listen to crap, right, then we're gonna continue to be controlled. Somebody else gonna control our programming. So I don't care how slippery the slope is. I'm willing to get on that slippery slope now.
One thing's for sure and two things for certain. I don't give a damn how you feel about me if you talking about my kids.
Right.
Our kids, everybody's kids. So you can say, well, this is a prehistoric type of mindset, or you archaic, or you anti XYZ, or you not this, that, the third.
Yeah.
When you start talking about my babies, I'm protecting them at all costs.
All costs. I agree.
And as men, we got to start standing on effing business.
Definitely.
And standing on business.
No doubt about it. 10 toes down.
Man. And we ain't going to be pushed off about what somebody think or somebody thought or somebody trying to call us a name. I'm protecting our next generation of children.
10 toes down. Absolutely. Star Corey said Widener should start up a black male fraternity. They already got Divine Nine there, man. Widener already got a Kappas.
I'm actually a chapter advisor for the Kappas there.
You know, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated is there at Widener University. But if you're talking about something that's completely different, maybe more of like a social black male fraternity.
Right. Then maybe that might make sense.
It's funny that you say that because I think it was 2 years ago. This is where it was one of my frat brothers started this. I think maybe in 2008. It was Black Men United. They got rid of Black Men United.
Was that Nadir?
No. It was Muhammad KK that started.
Okay.
Nadir was involved with it though. But it was KK that started. And the crazy part about that is they eliminated it recently, within the last 2 to 3 years. And I was like, why did they eliminate it? Because they said it's can't be exclusive of just having black men in there.
Yeah, whatever. So that just means we need to go somewhere else. That's all. We need to go to all of them black men that was united and get them back in the fold, and we just go somewhere else.
Being at Widener, I went to Widener too. So being at Widener, my gut is telling me that's the reason why they allowed the Divine Nine to actually flourish there. Because they know they were fucking sorry. They know they were wrong for that. They knew they were wrong for that.
Right.
You don't get rid of a Black Men United because they don't let white people in. That's bullshit.
Right. That is. So going back to the brunch thing, Malcolm, I wanted to ask you, do you know the brother Kavan? I think it's Kavan the way you pronounce it. Kavan Turman? He does this thing called the Brothers Brunch. It's mainly out of Delaware.
Okay.
But a very similar concept, and I would say it'd be worthwhile getting with him, talking about some lessons learned.
Absolutely.
And maybe even what a partnership looks like.
Yeah.
Because like we talked about on the last show, getting rid of them invisible walls that we have between all of these different local municipalities, waterfront municipalities, like they refer to us.
Communities on the river.
Communities on the river or whatever. I think it's worthwhile to get that strength in numbers because you're talking about a tremendous idea. I love it.
For real.
I want in.
And it's
all
going to be,
the board.
guess what? The first one, this one, we're going to make it free, brother. This is free.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking for the sisters to jump in. I'm asking for the support that's there because we want to make it free because we don't want to turn nobody away. Because one thing I notice what happens with us, man, we start to hear a little bit about, let's say, mental health. We be like, that shit is kind of corny. We hear about, talk about, anytime about talk, we're like, man, I ain't talk about our feelings, but we're not necessarily trying to have that. So we want to make sure that everyone feels encompassed, everyone feels there, and at least at the end of the day, you're gonna get a good meal and network with some brothers. Yeah. Because one of the things we need to do is learn from one another.
Absolutely,
right. That's a fact.
We gotta,
and that's what we lack.
We
lack the ability to learn from each other. Right. We lack transgenerational wisdom, right? Because our pops was locked up, our grandfathers was murdered, right? So I mean, I don't know about y'all, but my father, his father, or his father, I have no clue of. Yeah. Wow. I can't find it. I can't. I mean, my father I know, but my father's father, I've done the ancestry searches. I have no clue of it, brothers. Yeah. So, and this is a very common thing in our communities. So
and that's one of the
we
biggest
literally
problem
lack
with
that.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem with some of our black boys. Bro.
That's a fact.
They
And
not
see, little
around
girls
enough
get the
black men to know how to handle it.
That's
They
a fact.
create families.
That's a fact.
Right.
Right.
And
And
they
nobody to
create
hold us
families, and they-
accountable. Nobody to pull our coattail and say, "Come on,
And then
young brother,
then,
this
and then we
is
get
not-
mad hearing our sisters say we can't lead or they can't lead is because they sitting here trying to figure it out from a place of they don't even have a foundation.
we got to pull it out of the sky."
That's when women got to step up too, and because at the end of the day, we all got older brothers and cousins or uncle or something like that. Because I understand if a man's not there, that's his problem. It is what it is. But you're still raising that black boy.
That's a fact.
You're still raising these kids. So you can pick up the phone and you can call your uncle. Because I have
Listen, and
nieces
shout
and
out to
nephews
Lori for that.
that call all the
Right?
time,
Because
man.
my mom did that. When I was a young teenage boy, she was reaching out to my cousin who taught me how to
Absolutely.
paint.
That's why
Hey,
you're
can you
who
take
you are.
Andrew?
It's
Yeah.
a
She
must.
was reaching out to my brother.
Any man
right? Like, no
in
doubt
your
about it.
life,
Shout out to her for
sisters.
that. Right?
Any man in your life, sisters, reach out. And then you got to also listen because when a man steps up and say, hey, don't let him talk to you like that. Hey, sister, no, don't let her do that. Hey, no, with the boys, let's, hey, no, don't put that on him. Don't do this. And when a man G-checks that little boy, allow that check to happen because we know what they need. Because if they're not around it, you're only going to grow and create and produce a man that unfortunately you're going to be mad at in the future.
That's a fact.
Right? So let's
That's
go
a
to what Star Corey say. How about the availability of summer employment opportunities for children and the access of technology information? Seems like going back to the same situation with ongoing consistency. Why? Okay.
See more.
Okay, you got the joint going on in there. And your brothers would excel in such circumstances. What about access to summer jobs for the kids, access to technology, information? You fed me back to the same situations, but consistency will keep things happening. Your brothers will be great men. Brunch is the master plan.
Yeah, I agree with that. So,
Facts.
Star Corey, there are you got the Chester Education Foundation that has all kind of summer job opportunities. We got right here in CMP Radio last year was taking interns and will likely be taking interns again. You got Tabitha Core downtown in Chester was teaching trades. There are opportunities. The sad reality is, and I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna flat out say it. This spot's not getting filled.
Yeah.
Right? Call a spade a spade. The opportunities are there. Now, I don't know if this is an information dissemination problem or if it's a flat out, I don't care nothing about that problem. Now, I don't know which one it is, but these opportunities are available for young people. I've seen more programs that are catered to 18 to 25-year-olds emerge in the last 5 years than I've seen any other group of people with opportunities. And it ain't even close, right? And each one of these programs tell me regularly, we can't get enough bodies to fill the spot.
It's funny you say that. Every summer, my state senator Anthony Williams, he does a program for the kids. He does it out of his own campaign funds, his own pocket, I should say.
Yep.
And he wants them to clean up the community. So he gets them 3 nights a week. They'll go there for like 3 hours. I mean, we're lucky to get 2 kids.
Right.
And then we're like begging kids to
That's
please come out.
crazy.
They're like, they're not coming.
And Tabitha Core is paying stipends. Chester Education Foundation, they paying stipends.
What
Like,
really
it's money.
pisses me
Cash
off-
in your hand.
What really pisses
Stipend
me
is
off
cash
about
in
it
hand.
is that I'll usually get 2 or 3 girls.
Yeah.
I
Right.
can't even
Right.
find
And that's
them.
what
Can't find
Tabitha
them.
Core
Can't find
it's
them.
more girls sticking in the program. Absolutely.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Absolutely. So Felicia Coffey said promote this in the school. I agree with that. Star Corey, in the beginning of the show, we definitely talked about political maturity being inadequate. That ain't a black-white thing. That's an American thing. That's a capitalism thing. We absolutely addressed that, but you're so very much right. Tiara Gully, being a mother of girls, you feel that young ladies need male guidance as well. It's hard raising
Facts,
girls.
Gully.
Absolutely.
Tiara,
Absolutely.
facts.
Spot on.
That's why we all girl dads, bro.
Right.
Like, we all
Right.
three of us are girl
Right.
dads,
All
man.
3 of us. Yep.
All of us. All
Four,
4 of
yeah.
us.
All 4 of us,
There we
yeah.
go. My
Right. And
apologies,
P got
P.
more daughters than all of us.
Put together. No, I'm playing.
Nah, you not though. You absolutely right. Yeah, nah, you right. You got 5 daughters, P? 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He definitely got more daughters than all of us put together.
1.
I got 2. You got 1.
Yeah,
you got how
I got
many?
1.
Yep. So that's
Yeah,
4
yeah,
collectively.
you
And he
got
got
us.
us beat.
My
still
apologies.
about 30%. You know what I mean? He killing us out there with the girls.
Yes, sir.
So absolutely, and it is hard. And so the reality is that when you raising children in general, children need to see both parents. They need that balance,
Always.
right? And when the child does not have that balance, what you're going to have inevitably is an imbalance. And I don't mean to sound like an asshole with the obvious, right? But we got too many children being raised with a energy imbalance, right?
Yeah.
If you got too much mom and not enough dad, or too much dad and not enough mom,
emotions,
right? We're going to encounter problems.
Yep.
Each parent has our own
That's
role,
why
right?
we're not the
God
same.
designed everything with perfect balance,
Right.
right?
We're not the
And
same.
men got to stop trying to play women's roles, and women got to stop trying to play men roles.
Gotta
If
stop.
everybody learn, do your part.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
How he has to say, stay in your lane.
We was already designed with a perfect balance.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And as men, because I love my brothers, and I feel like if we hold each other accountable,
We must.
Like I was saying earlier when Pete
must.
corrected me, I love it, man. Continue to show me, continue to guide me, right? If we got excess capacity, man, go ahead and help out another kid that don't have it, right? Because like Pac said, let me show you how it affects the whole community. And it does.
It does.
It absolutely does.
It does.
Right? Because maybe, just maybe, that young lady that you took the time to help build her up a little bit ends up being the young lady who makes a decision to save another young brother, and now you got a man becoming something that he would not have become. Right? All because you took the time and invested in this young lady to make her whole, so she could then pour in. Because grass grows not where it's greener, but where it's water.
You know,
right?
We got a rule in our family is that our kids don't go to the system.
Say what again?
Our kids will not go to the system.
Boom.
Okay.
Like, you know how, like, something, if God forbid something happened to one of my brothers, somebody got to raise their kid. It's just reality. We all deal with death in all different ways, but we have that rule. Those kids will have to move in one of our houses, and we're going to have to figure this out.
That's a fact.
It's building a village is the way I live.
Absolutely.
I think we need to start doing that more
Absolutely.
often.
It's the only thing that sustained us through all of this time, brother.
You're right.
Villages. Absolutely.
Villages.
Spot on with that, right?
Amen, man.
Spot on. And somewhere we got away from the village. I call it crack. Other people would disagree, right?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Crack.
I think that the crack epidemic was the literal. So all of that mass incarceration was a result of crack.
Of course.
Right? The lack of education in the school districts, the defunding of trades and all of that, that all resulted in the crack epidemic.
Actually,
I think it all.
Let's do it. So, they really started in Vietnam when the war vets were, because when
they came back addicted to heroin.
They came back all addicted to heroin.
Absolutely.
That's what really started the problem.
But even through the heroin epidemic, we still had strong, solid black families, right?
They were there.
So that's why I'm blaming crack, right?
Yeah.
We see a unique decline in the 80s. It ratcheted up like tenfold, right? Mm-hmm. That's when you see white flight was at its prime in the late 70s, right? Mm-hmm. That's when you see the defunding of trades out of the school districts, right? That's when you see the national expansion of housing projects, right? Late 70s, early 80s, right? Everywhere else in the world, we know that when you want to diversify risk, you spread it out, right? Or to manage risk, you diversify, you spread it out, right? But then what do? They start making these conglomerates of low income, these low income neighborhoods. That was all intentional to increase crime, right? That's all it was about. So, yeah, man, we just need to now. We need to go back to that village, right? By any means necessary, because we need each other.
I agree.
It is impossible to survive in America with an individualistic mentality as an ethnic person.
That's right.
Individualism has never been a ethnic thing, right? Asians don't think in terms of individualism.
No, collective.
Hispanics don't think in terms of individualism. Arabs don't think in terms of individualism.
But
Every single one of them know that their power is in the collective, right? Don't. Well, we know it. We just don't have the means to do it because every time we got leaders, they get killed or emasculated. True. Right?
Or is it that we have the resources, but what is it is that we just don't subscribe to it? Do we not subscribe to it anymore? Do we know? It's like we what they say, we willingly be ignorant.
Right.
That's the messed up part. Why are
some of us are willfully ignorant. Some of us are just flat out ignorant.
Why?
Why are we willful? Maybe the pain of the reality is too hard to accept, so you escape.
When do we get out of that?
I mean, that's a great question.
Like how long are we gonna keep carrying on some of this old ass trauma?
Right.
Well,
because we ain't saying forget it. We got to move past it.
Well, go ahead.
You got to look at the trauma that we had as being descendants of slaves.
Right.
It's like my grandfather was born in 1903.
Yeah.
So my father got a different education. So I got a whole different education than
Absolutely.
other people. It's
Absolutely.
weird. Like it's almost like I'm 60 something years old and I'm only 42.
Right.
Like
right.
You know,
no,
so
you're right.
Like
you're absolutely right.
Mindset
And I think that's dope.
They systematically did this to destroy us.
They did, and it's working.
We do it to each other.
Right.
We don't have to, and the reason why we do it because we want their acceptance.
Right.
That's one thing about me. I do not take theirs. I don't care about you accept me or not.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is, and we got to start saying that and say I don't need to be accepted by you. That's the reason why I don't do the code switching nonsense. Yeah. I don't sound like Carlton Banks when I go into an interview. No, you want to fire me anyway when you find out that I'm really black.
Right.
You might as well just give it to you up front. What am I doing this for?
For real.
Just the way it is. So we really got to take a step back and truly support our we talked about it, the nuclear family.
Yeah.
It all comes back. What you're saying, what I'm hearing is that we got to go back to being a real family.
Absolutely.
A real family isn't just male and female.
Rock
whole
step.
group.
And having them hard conversations, man, because we like this.
We get nervous at talking about these hard conversations.
Do. We get
and
uncomfortable.
Now, we're more and more ripping the Band-Aid off of it, man. But what I'm starting to understand, what I'm starting to learn is we got to stop caring what people going to try to put on us. Because just like you said, you're going to put that on us no matter what.
You're going to do it anyway.
Absolutely.
Right? But what's always said is that it all comes out in the wash. You can't put nothing on me that's not going to stick.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you can call me A, B, C, D, and E, but my history shows that's not it.
That's a fact.
Right. So just because you don't like what I'm saying and you disagree, you gonna call me a name? Well, F your name, bro. F your name, sis. Because the truth is the truth.
Right.
And that's one thing that's always gonna be there. They say, what's that saying that says this? This is a lie would travel 1,000,000 miles before the truth put his shoes on. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. But when the truth put his shoes on, brother, the shit is stopped right then and there. So. That's what we need to continuously do is stop being scared to have these hard conversations,
Absolutely.
right? And men, stop being scared to stand up and voice your opinion,
right?
Because that's what's happening. We are being nervous to stand up to voice our opinion because we scared of getting labeled something,
right? And what else do we got to lose,
right? Exactly. Right? You trying to
being quiet ain't got us nowhere.
Nowhere.
Being docile ain't got us nowhere.
It only got our families torn apart. It only got us losing money,
right?
And it got us where we are now,
right?
So what we got to lose, bro?
Right. I want peace, but not at the expense of my silence.
For real.
Yeah. When I heard old boy say that in the song, it cut me
like a nail.
Yep.
What goes to the comments before we go to the wrap up the narrative.
The last thing, Felicia Coffee, the crack epidemic, absolutely correct. And the brother, he said, your lack of knowledge is clearly evident, and you're attributing it to the crack epidemic. Okay, which was intentionally introduced into our communities to dismantle our families. Absolutely. However, it seems you're merely adopting the mindset of those responsible and are therefore acting as an agent against us. I ain't really sure who he talking about, but if that's his opinion, cool. All right, brother.
No, what I'm getting out of that is just that, or let me explain that one, Corey. I think what Andrew's just wrapping it all up in is saying or stating it that it all kind of encompasses or started in that crack epidemic. It's not that we're not attributing and everything else to it, but I think that's where it kind of like you can kind of wrap up our generation. It's all quantifying currently from that crack epidemic. There's a lot of other things that's within it, but when you start breaking down the crack epidemic, you can see a whole lot of layers that's underneath that kind of translated to today's movement.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Not crack is in the rock. Crack is in the era. Mm-hmm. Right.
It's fun. I grew up at 9th and Butler. If you know.
Oh, you from Chester?
Yeah.
Chester? Huh?
No. 9th and Butler in Philly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So 8th and Butler was one of the biggest. And if you don't think crack tore up our communities, you out your goddamn mind.
For sure.
I've never seen it. Going back and I'm thinking about how traumatized it was. And people say like, "Why are you so violent?" Hell yeah, I had to be violent.
Absolutely. Just to survive.
Just to get out of this.
Yeah.
And they would literally be selling drugs like it was. You ever watch The Wire?
Definitely.
Like when it's like 30 days.
Definitely.
I grew up on that corner.
Absolutely.
That's the corner I grew up on, and it's crazy.
I went to Booker T in '92. Yeah. I remember walking through the LV. There was crack vials on the ground.
Yeah, it's just normal.
Right?
That was normal.
This was the reality of my childhood. Right.
Needles all day long. It's normal stuff.
Yeah, man. So now again, I'm not saying that crack the rock is to blame because everybody with common sense knows that no black person brought crack into the communities, right? We didn't have no planes, we didn't have no boats, we didn't have legislation. And if you've watched our show, Brother Corey, then you'll see that we get into this very heavily and we have plenty of times, right? So I'm definitely referring to the era, right? That era is where the decline came. I wasn't at all trying to remove blame from outside sources, because I'm a big I talk about that all the time. I always refocus and say that our reality was designed. Right?
Oh, it was.
We didn't get here by mistake or by accident, right? But yeah, so listen, we could probably go back and forth and debate that all
we
day.
Definitely can,
all
we,
day.
You know, we love it. You know,
absolutely.
So we wrapping this up. What's the narrative of Sexy Red not going to school, man? What we need to create? What's the new narrative that we need to paint, or what are we saying to the community?
I'm saying be mindful of what we allowing our children to consume. Helicopter parenting is not amazing, but it's necessary to an extent. By the same token, where we got to give these kids enough freedom to live, we need to give them enough structure to survive. To be clear, it's a reason why parents are in place. Our brain don't stop growing until we 25. And the last thing we develop is logical deductive reasoning. So stop giving these kids so much ability to make these life-altering decisions when their damn brain ain't even developed yet. Right? Feed that brain, allow them to grow into these adults and understand that they're in adolescence adult lessons. They're learning. They're not grown.
Darren, what's
they're not even capable of making these decisions
at all.
Right? That's why we are parents.
At all.
So don't be afraid to say, I don't know about y'all, but that's not happening with my child.
Yeah.
Stop following these damn trends.
Yeah.
I don't want my child to miss out. Why?
Facts.
Why don't you want your child to miss out? Because what? Because everybody else is showing you that they on the right path? Cut it the fuck out.
Facts.
Let your child miss out a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah.
Facts. All right.
So that's how I think we change the narrative.
That's how you change it.
Be a parent.
Be a parent.
It's okay.
Not a friend.
Right, not a friend. They got plenty of friends.
They're going to have plenty of friends.
But they only got 2 parents.
That's right.
All right, that's it. I'm done.
One more. So D, what's your your narrative? What you think we should change out of that? What's your final talking points on that?
Well, what I heard too is be a parent, and that's number one. And one thing it made me think about my parents is I didn't know my mom was cool as shit till I was like 30.
Right, and that's the way it should be.
Honestly, I was like 30. Right. I had my own family. I had kids. I'm moving, and I'm like, my mom's pretty cool as shit.
Absolutely.
I didn't know my dad was cool until I was like probably about 27, 28.
Absolutely.
My dad revealed himself a little bit more, but we were not friends.
Right.
I mean, he would punch me in the chest in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
But he would steer me the right way to make sure I do the right things and develop a family. And I realized that he passed away now, but it's like he's talked to him every single day. And he was developing me, and I realized the skill sets that he gave me was parent shit. Right. Like, you know what I mean? He was being a parent. My parents were just true. I had true. They weren't out together. They got divorced when I was like 9 years old, but they were good friends. Similar to what you were saying. I mean, literally, they were. My dad was. I mean, he lived around the corner.
Absolutely.
But he's like, it is what it is. Actually, when my dad got sick, my mother moved him in the house and took care of him. Before he died. Right. Like that's the type of she's like, no, he's coming with me. This is my family.
Absolutely.
And she will be washing them and taking care of them.
Right.
And I believe that we need to get back to that village.
Right.
That's really
we do.
To. We need to get back to that. Because my thinking was a little bit different. I was raised pretty much traditional family.
Right. And that's a blessing.
And that's what the way
that's
it is.
a blessing.
Thank God for that.
Thank God. Absolutely.
And that's what I want to see us do as a whole. It's okay to be a husband and wife and celebrate that.
And I love that we're raising our children in that same manner.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And even still, if you don't have that nuclear family, you can still provide nuclear traditions, right?
For sure.
Absolutely.
Nuclear values.
Right.
So again, the narrative is don't let music or social media raise your child
at all.
Yeah,
don't let the social media or the social culture of things of being cute dictate of how you parent
at all.
Right. So you have to go ahead, because it's not cute your little daughter doing Pound Town. It's not cute that your son don't know his ABCs, but he can recite a whole Gunna verse.
Right.
Like that's not cool, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like so let's stop trying to do things for the clicks and the likes and build this child up so that he can be the next generation leader or professional that we necessarily need.
Absolutely.
Because we out here, man, and we look at these new I don't even know what this generation is called, the babies that we're growing, that we're having now. We have in Generation Z, parent a whole new generation, and Generation Z is a little sketchy, right? Mm-hmm. So we got to figure out how to be more disciplined, be more intentional, and again, be involved in your child's life, bro.
Frederick Douglass said it's far better to build strong children than to repair broken men.
Ooh,
That's the truth.
Let's not repair. Like let's build them right, man. Let's give them the foundation so that we ain't got to repair them later on, man. But this was a good one, bro.
It was really good, man. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, man. Most
it's
definitely.
Been a great conversation, man.
You know, it's good to have the Mayor Burrell in the house.
Yes,
man.
indeed.
And
yes,
it's good
indeed.
to have the boss man produce our show today, man.
Yes, sir. That's a rare treat. Rare treat that we got.
Is rare, man. So and it falls in line because Father's Day coming up too soon, and we was just talking.